Okay guys, it's Verdier back again. Today we are going to discuss the high cost of all the accessories I have put on this car, and I have spent a bit of money on this car for accessories. I'm going to tell you what I paid, where I got the parts, well, most of them if I can remember, and I'm going to tell you, is it worth it or not? That way you can get an idea whether it's something to go with. And the first thing I'm going to go over, and I don't have the exact costs, but we're going to go over it first, are the parking sensors. The parking sensors, to me, were an incredible choice to have. Definitely something I needed. They get installed in multiple parts of the car, front and back. I hope these are showing because I can't see anything. The sunlight is so bright out here. I can see right down there. I can't see anything. And of course I just got the car cleaned, and of course it's all dripping crud all over the place. The parking sensors I had installed by Honda. Maybe not really cost effective. I didn't show you the rest. There's a total of 4 in the rear and 2 in the front. Although it would be better, I felt, if they could put more in the front. Parking sensors I had installed by Honda mostly because it's a big deal. It takes a lot of work. Honda quoted me about 6 to 8 hours to do it. Total cost, including the parts, about $1,200. This is one of the things that they offer at the very beginning for you to get, and you can make a choice if you want to or not. I'm going to show you right after this what it looks like when the parking sensors go off. I think this particular thing, while very expensive, was worth every single penny. If you have any tight quarters you have to go in, you're worried about your parking and so forth, the malls and so forth, I highly recommend the parking sensors. As part of the package, obviously, it's all installed in your system, and you get one last thing, which would be your parking sensor button right there, which you will definitely need anytime you go in a car wash, because the things will go off like nuts. So parking sensors, I get a big thumbs up. It is an expensive proposition, but I think it's worth every penny. Okay, so now that we've got inside the car, this will be my third try to get this set right, to show you the parking sensors and how they work. Oh, always over dramatic, but definitely very useful, especially when you got a tight garage like I do to get in and out of. Keeps me from hitting that stuff at the front. I'm going to give you a quick look at it from behind. You got 2 views. You can show in edges and so forth. Or you can set it so it shows the actual connectors, so forth. The actual sensors. This will show the front sensors as well. And there you go. Usually I keep it like that. And those are your parking sensors. Not only that, but not only do they show in that main screen, we're going to move over to here. They show in this screen as well. And that is your parking sensors at work. Definitely worth every penny in my opinion, especially in crappy small garages like this one. The next part I want to discuss are the splash kits. Now in this car, I believe the splash kits look very good. The black on red looks very nice. I also had these professionally installed. Technically, they're not all that difficult to install, but I think all of you have seen how I installed the illumination when I changed the lights on the inside of the car, and you saw what a doofus job I did on that, and I could have wrecked things. I don't trust myself. I think these are good for protection of the car, although it is recommended after each winter that you have them taken off and cleaned behind and then reinstalled. Shouldn't be too hard for anyone who's relatively savvy at dealing with nuts and bolts. Not all that difficult. I paid $70.56 for the set of 4. I think these are worth it. I like to add as much protection to my car as feasibly possible, and I think these things do add protection. Again, you just got to make sure you get them taken off and cleaned maybe once a year, especially if you live in a winter area. So $70.56 for a set of splash guards. Next, we're going to go to something that's a little bit more controversial, and we'll talk about that next. Based on the direction you see I'm pointing at, I think you know what the controversial discussion is now. This is the rear spoiler. The big problem with the rear spoiler is the fact that the inside looks fantastic without it as well. It looks great in both ways. So this is really going to be mostly whether you want a more sporty-ish kind of look to it, although the car has a great sporty look to it to begin with. One plus I have noticed with the spoiler is that the trunk tends to open and close a little bit more easily. It does come with extended springs, and of course the rear does have a light back here, so it does light up. Also, it doesn't block hardly anything in your rear view, so you're not going to lose any rear view look. They come pre-painted, so you don't have to paint them, so that's not going to be an issue of yours. However, they are not cheap. The actual spoiler, at least what I paid for it, and I paid a pretty good price, if I could find a freaking price. Oh my God, did I just, oh, there we go. $265.29. That is for the spoiler alone. That is significantly less than you're going to get it at the dealer. Again, I will tell you in the end where I got those particular parts towards the end of it. Now, installation, since I love this car so much and I don't want to take any chances on it, I had it installed by a Honda dealer. Now, Honda dealer charged me $134.40 to install this, which actually is a bit of an accidental bargain. They kind of, they figured it was only a 1-hour job. I think they had wrong information, and being a good dealer, they decided to stick with what they had quoted me. It was actually a 2-hour job. Either way, I think it adds some pizzazz, or pizzazz, or whatever the real world is, to the looks of the car. I love it. It's fantastic. You know, it was kind of a touch and go because the car looks so good without it. But quite frankly, I think it's worth every single penny. And before we go any further, I'm going to tell you where I got majority of these parts. I got them in a place called online called G1Parts.com. It's essentially part of Sterling McCall Honda Parts. But G1Parts.com, I found them to be the cheapest overall, although if you shop around things like that, you can get sales on some of the parts, mostly things like the splash guards in the back and so forth. So it's always worth looking around. But the G1 Parts, I purchased everything came, nothing was broken, highly recommended, and very, very cheap. You can look them up right on the internet. So we're going to go to the next one, which to me, it's kind of a touch and go. Now we're looking inside the trunk, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about now. It's the Civic trunk tray, which costs significantly less than the Insight branded version of it. What can I say about this? I like the looks of it. Fits perfectly fine. It's almost as if it's covered in Teflon. Everything slides big time. So if you're going to get this particular item, I would recommend you get something like a little basket that you can hold your stuff in that you can tie down inside the car. Quality-wise, it's fine. It's going to be good against any moisture or anything that's getting on there. But remember, everything's going to slide in here. I paid about $45–50 for this. I got it on Amazon. You just need to see my other video, and it'll tell you specifically where to get it. Do I recommend it? I'm in the middle. I would have preferred one that's more rubberized so things don't slide around as much. So keep it in mind. It is a true Honda part. So, you know, it's pretty good and so forth, and it's nice quality. But I would go for the more rubberized version. You can find more information on rubberized or different versions that are out there. Anything that'll fit pretty much a 2017 or 2018 Civic sedan will fit in the rear inside. So you can check on the forums, and you can find other ones that are probably going to be a little bit better in this aspect. Either way, am I unhappy I have it? No, but I would have preferred rubberized. So my general recommendation is right in the middle, but generally no. Next ones on my list are going to be the floor mats, which I just cleaned and they're still filthy. So obviously I don't know how to clean it. I used a high pressure wash with soap and everything, and it stayed dirty. That right there is pissing me off right on the bat. Now, these are the Honda branded ones. They don't look bad. They offer reasonable coverage, but not complete coverage. To be perfectly honest, I would probably consider going for some of the higher end ones. Here are other ones. They stain very easily. Well, stain as in they show the dirt very easily. I mean, they are black. Obviously, I do not know how to properly clean them. As I said, I just got back from a car wash. I high pressure wash these things, and they still look like they haven't been washed at all. So anyone with ideas on how to clean them, you know, please let me know. They don't come cheap. Even at the McCall, I paid $106.40 for these. It's a set of 4, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. There are other better choices like the WeatherTech, TuxMat, and so forth. They're a bit more pricey, but they offer more coverage going all the way across. So that's something to take into consideration when purchasing this. My opinion, I think they're worth it at $106. If anyone, and they seem to be holding up pretty well, although it's only been like 4 months of wear, and they seem to work pretty well. Would it be my first choice? I don't know. I might go with TuxMat next, but that's like $225. So we'll go from there, and we'll see how it goes. But generally, I would give it a yay. Next on the list is this ratty, ugly, disgusting car seat cover. It works. It does what it needs to do. It cost me $24.95. I cannot find one that is designed specifically for the touring version of the Insight. Only for the EX and LX with non-power seats. I hope I can find one that is specifically made, because I do want one that's put in properly. This protects my seats against my cheap black pants. They will turn the seats blue, which kind of sucks, and something I highly, would recommend anyone who wears either cheap pants or dark pants. They're worried about any discoloration of the leather. It's the only reason I have it. Otherwise, it's pretty darn ugly. Do I recommend it? Well, I think I'll leave that up to you as to whether it's something that's really going to do any good for you. So, $24.95, I guess, how can you go wrong? It keeps my seats clean, and eventually there'll be a nice version out there that I can get. So we're going to go on to the next item. Next on our list is the door sill illumination, which you're seeing right here. A little black strip there that says Insight, and it's lit up. It's a little dirty right now. I think some of you have seen them in earlier videos of mine, lit up. They look very nice. They're on both sides. They add a little bit of class. That particular item, the illuminated side sill, goes for $165.39. That's for the pair of them. That's just for the part. I had that installed by Honda, and yes, that's, I'm sure I overpaid and so forth. But you got to keep in mind, this is my baby. I do not know how to do this, and this is electrical stuff, and I'm not doing electrical stuff on my car. Installation of these particular parts, that's the door sill illumination, was $172.50. Is that right? Was it a $17.52? Yep, $172.50. Do I think they're worth them? Yes. I like these. I think these are nice. They had a nice touch of class. I think they're worth it. And, so sue me if you don't like it. I think they're cool, and I think they're worth every single penny. Again, mostly for class. And yes, it is a bit of a snobby factor, but not, overly important. Next, we have the subwoofer. Now, I already own the subwoofer, so I'm not going to add that in the price. However, the Audio Control ACM 1.3 subwoofer amplifier, it's a nice, not overpowered. I mean, it puts several hundred watts, but it doesn't draw too much from the battery. Easy to set up, easy to hook up. For me, that amp cost me about $1.45. I figure if you search on the internet, you'll find about the same price. That's my that's my price at Best Buy. I work there, so I get a pretty good deal. I think it's about $1.50 is what I pay, $1.45. Can't tell you how much installation is because we haven't worked that out because there were other issues with the scratching on the front plastics. Do I recommend? If you want good sound, and yeah, you need a subwoofer in a car if you're serious about your audio. So I recommend it wholeheartedly. Next, we're going to talk about the door panel illumination. It illuminates here, and it illuminates down there. It includes both front doors. I don't believe it includes the back doors. I'm pretty sure it does include the back doors. They are controlled by the rheostat over to the left of the steering wheel. They are only white, which was very disappointing in and of itself. I assume they're LEDs, but they are white LEDs. So the color's not all that great. Now, I've tried filming these in the dark. I might try again towards the end of this video because I still have to show the puddle lights, which was also added in. So we've got door panel illumination for both doors. $345 installed just for the installation. Now, the door panel illumination is only $66.67. So not too expensive for the parts, but the installation is very expensive. Probably a lot of wire work involved, pulling off the whole door panel and fooling around. Is it worth it? No, it is not worth it. Unless you can do it yourself, in which case you would do, I would recommend an outside choice, something that will give you maybe a different color glow, a pretty color glow, or multiple different color glows. Obviously, I paid a lot for the installation because, well, again, an electrical thing. I didn't want anyone screwing up my doors or the electrical in the car. So I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to have some dude from some shop install it. And I don't know guys that are good enough that I could trust. So, but overall, no, I don't recommend them. They do give a nice subtle light, yeah, a little bit of class, but without the extra color, they're just basically, they're not even a bright white. They're kind of a dull yellowish white, probably to match the old lights up here. And they don't show off all that well. So, no, I don't recommend them. I'd say steer clear of them or find some kind of aftermarket alternative, which I bet there are a ton of. Use them instead. You'll get a better response. And that's going to segue us directly down into the illumination down here that's in both footwells. That illumination, let's see, for installing, interior illumination. Interior illumination is $172.50 installed. Relatively expensive. Again, we're dealing electrical, so I wasn't going to do it. Not for a second. Now, the cost of the ambient light kit, it's called the ambient light kit, is $84. I think a little on the high side, my price. Still better than a list price that you would get. Is it worth it? Same thing as the door panels. No, it isn't. It's fully controlled again by the rheostat, and it can get bright enough that you notice it. It doesn't seem to show up much on video, but that's probably more to do with my video skills than anything else. They're white. I mean, they're not even white. They're yellow white. They're boring. They're not even interesting. Not worth it. Not in the least bit. Save your guys, save your money. Don't bother with it. And just go with something cooler, something better, because you're wasting your time with this. So we're gonna segue into the puddle lights. The puddle lights, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to give you the costs, and we're gonna do a video later tonight, and then I'm gonna put it all together and put it online for you. The puddle lights. All right, let's hold off on this and let's jump to the puddle lights. The puddle lights are essentially installed right under here. Well, here's my finger. Right underneath, right under here. And you're going to see a film of them later tonight, along with my one other thing. It gives you, I believe it's 3 lights going across on each side on the bottom. They look great. They look fantastic. They only really respond when you open the doors and when you unlock the car with the remote. They don't otherwise, or when you open the door and so forth. They are a bit on the pricey side, $166.50. They are serious. I think they're a very serious install, and I think that's something heavy duty ride involved with them. Now, the installation on those puppies, there's door panel illumination for the puddle lights is also expensive, $287.50. They are not a minor install. I think this is a pretty significant install. I would only recommend people who really know what they're doing do it. Are they worth it? Abso-frickin-lutely, dudes. Guys, they look great. Just for pure coolness factor, I highly recommend the puddle lights. Again, pricey, but if you can find someone who's good at doing the install, they're on both sides. They look fantastic when lit. I will film them tonight to give you an idea. Now the last one I'm going to talk about, I already filmed it, would be the interior illumination changeover. I think I already did a full video on that. So, I mean, I did a full video, but I think I already did a video to add it as part of the things. So I'm going to check that before I finalize this video. Okay, to show you guys why I love the puddle lights so much, I'm going to give you a nice shot of it. It's a little light out here, so it's not going to show it off too much. But since I changed the inside lights, turns out nice blue, look straight down. The puddle lights look absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, they serve a function. I mean, not only, they're just shutting off real quick, aren't they? I'm going to leave the door open a little, like that. I'm going to leave it ajar like that. Not only do they serve a function, obviously, to, you know, keep you from stepping in puddles. You know, they're also welcome lights. But they match the headlamps, and now they match the interior lights, and they look absolutely fantastic. Now, they are pricey, but I think they are worth every single freaking penny. They just really jazz up the look of the car. So, 100%, I believe they're worth buying. Definitely a buy. And as you can see, we're now magically in the evening. And here we're going to show you one of the new accessories I recently changed in this car. Another, probably the most cost-effective and very dramatic change to the car are the LED light replacements. And they make quite a difference. We're going to go ahead and unlock the car now, giving a nice, beautiful blue glow. And the nice thing is they match the puddle lights in color. To me, this is probably one of the cheapest ways to really make the car shine. Really adds a great touch to the car. And here, with all of this involved, all we paid for this, $7.99 for the LEDs. Yeah, they're cheap. They'll probably blow up in 6 months. I don't care. I got a bunch of them. And like $13 for plastic tools, which I need anyway. That is a heck of a bargain for so much extra plus. It really irradiates the car and makes it look much nicer. So I have to say, this is one, you know, you ask as part of this this video, is it worth it? These are definitely worth it. Worth it all the way. We're going to look at the trunk one too. And here you can see the trunk, nicely lit, beautiful. And the color is fantastic. It doesn't show as well on camera, and of course it's a mess in here. I do apologize. I keep my cleaning supplies, but I think I'm gonna take all that stuff out of there with that mat. Everything shakes around. So for cost, for what you get, this is definitely well worth it and something I highly recommend to anybody as an accessory to add to your Insight. That right there is pretty much the end of the list of everything that I can think of that I've added to this car so far. Lot of money, my friends. You know, if you don't include the things like the parking sensors, just the parts for this puppy, and that was just the parts like the illumination and all that. It doesn't include the trunk tray. And so forth. Just the parts alone were nearly $1,000. Yeah, about nearly $1,000 for the parts. And the installation, again, about $980. That's a lot of money to be putting in this. And of course, I used the more expensive people to do it. I just didn't want anything messed up. And I didn't, you know, and at least if they mess it up, I can go to Honda and complain. You know, if Joe Blow's shack does it, you know, I'm screwed. I would not have done the illumination. Oh my God, I really scraped the bottom down there. I would not have done the illumination on the inside. I don't think it's worth it. The door sills are worth it. The puddle lights are worth it. The parking sensors are worth it. By far, those are among the best. And of course, my subwoofer kicks ass. That makes a big difference. And that's basically where we're at for the parts. So I'm just going to show you one other thing that makes me want to kill myself. See, that's what happens when you bottom out in this car. This is happening to a fair amount of people. This car is a lot lower than most people think. And I hit a, yeah, boy, that happened I think that happened last night when I was taking a friend home, and soon to be an ex-friend, because his driveway sucks. So I guess I'm going to have to get some painting done eventually, get that fixed. Although I don't know if it's really worth painting at this point. Maybe something I'll do later. Well, that's the end of this video. I'm kind of quiet because there are a lot of people, listening, and I'm an embarrassed kind of guy anyway. So I'm just going to leave my car right out here. I got to go to physical therapy late. Then I'm going to try to put together, match together the video with the outside puddle lights, which you guys already seen once, but I'm going to show it again as part of this video. It'll be right at the end. I'll videotape it tonight. I'll put it together and upload it. And that is it. This is Verdier signing out. Take care.